Welcome everybody, I'm so glad you're here tonight. We're learning about mindset. Tonight I thought that would be a really good topic. What we think about, we feel. So our attitude is very important when it comes to creating our reality. So I coulds, for those of you who weren't here on the first class, are, as a clinical hypnotherapist, it's the secret doorway to manifesting. It is the pathway into creating whatever it is that you're wanting. It helps you in so many ways. It matches the frequency of what it is that we're wanting. It gets us into that feeling state, and it starts to move us towards bringing that into our reality. So I coulds are more powerful, I think, than I ams. So the I coulds are such a powerful way to open up possibility. It just starts to get your mind accepting it, and hypnosis is accepting a suggestion, and when we accept a suggestion, miracles happen. It's what we can accept that becomes our reality. That's it. And it's only us that has to accept it. It's all in our ability to be able to accept it or not accept it. It is our imagination that is dictating our entire reality. So, how are we going to accept what we want? Just play with it. We're getting you into this mindset, okay? Put a little heart around the one that would be the most fun to show up within 24 hours. Our mindset around these ones can be a challenge because we don't know what it would feel like, or we don't know how that would be, or we want it, but So what we want to do is we want to match that frequency. So I'm going to get you to do a little exercise of just tuning into yourself. And what I want you to do is play with your imagination. You're going to set your intention, which is the I could that you put a heart beside. Everybody read what they wrote. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get you into the matching that mindset. I'm going to get you to set your intention again in your mind. I could, whatever it is that you wrote. Conscious mind is letting your subconscious mind know what it is that you are attracting into your reality within the next 24 hours. Now what I'd like you to do is think about, how would that feel? What would it feel like to have achieved that I could? What I want you to do is match that frequency, match that feeling with another time where it matches what it is that what you wrote down. So it might be a feeling of climbing, running to the top of a hill, looking out over above the clouds. Now I want you to just expand on that feeling. Let that feeling in, let it feel good, let it into your body. Notice where it comes in first. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your chest? Is it in your toes or your fingers at the top of your head? Just feel where you feel that feeling. Keep your mind focused on that picture that matched that frequency that's totally different than your I could, but it matches the frequency. So fill in the sights, the sounds, the feelings, the smells, the taste. Really feel it by using your senses as though you're back in that moment that matched that frequency. Just be there now. So when you practice this, you want to feel it up here, okay? So that's super important that you let it in to the point where you just keep feeling. When you feel it up here, now you know that you've anchored that in, and that I could is coming your way so fast, okay? So Einstein says, match the frequency of whatever we desire, and it cannot help but come to us. It's not philosophy, it's physics. Match the frequency. 17 years as a clinical hypnotherapist, I get it now. That's the secret, is when we match, when we're working in our offices with our clients, what are we doing? We're matching what it is that they desire, and we're helping them to get into the state as though they're in it now. And then when they get into it now in my office, they walk out and they have changed their whole mindset. Their whole way of being has now been upgraded to what they wanted programmed in. And this is how we do it. Law of attraction says that we can't ever attract anything into our life unless we feel it now. And how do we attract something that we've never had? This is how. I like definitions of words because we use words so often. Oh, I need a better mindset, or I need a better attitude. But like when you actually look, what is mindset? The established set of attitudes, held by someone. We can have an attitude of gratitude. We can have an attitude of love. We can have an attitude of joy. We get to choose. It's up to us. We get to program in whatever the mindset is. Think about your last 15 years, or you could go back all the way. And I want you to think about your accomplishments. I want you to think about what you've succeeded in. And there are many, many successes that we don't put our attention on because we're so driven to move forward, aren't we? We're so focused on that we forget to stop and acknowledge, wow, look at what I have accomplished. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to think about now, spend some time thinking how good it could go. What do you want to create for your future? What is something that you want in the next year, thinking ahead? What would you have achieved 1 year from now? What would that look like if you could have anything? Go big, have fun, just play. This is play time here on Wednesday nights, but it's also creation time. This is how things get created. But I want you to just draw a little box off to the side, and I want you to think, what is the block that could come up? What's the block that could stop that from happening? If there was any block, what is it? Write it in a box. Make it as small as possible. We don't want to put a lot of energy into this. Maybe just put it into one word. What's the block that could stop that from happening? If there was any block, what is it? Write it in a box. Make it as small as possible. Put it in a block. Okay, we're going to demolish that block. So what I want you to do is go ahead and turn it into an object. Make it an object. Go ahead right now, make it an object. Any object at all. Maybe it's a feather, maybe it's a fire hydrant, maybe it's a hole. Now there's that object. Now you got that, you've turned it into an object. That's all it is. It's just a distraction. It's not reality. Okay, reality is you are attracting and bringing to you, and that's your block that's getting in the way from attracting and bringing that to you. So what we want to do is we want to make that get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You can do it in a ridiculous way. Something that kind of ridiculous is the whole situation, so it's kind of fun, humorous now. What we're doing is we're changing our state about that. How are you going to make it smaller and disappear? There's an illusion that's attached that's stopping. It's a thought. There's a limiting belief that's holding you back from attracting that into your reality. So when you change it into an object and you make it ridiculous and then you make it get smaller, what happens is every time you think about that block, now it's going to be really hard for you not to think about that little hat with little legs. I'm going to see little legs getting smaller and smaller. You're rewiring your brain to create a different state. Okay, so if that old neural pathway is no longer getting fed that old fear or that old worry or that old, so things are going to change. Opportunities are going to happen. But the interesting thing is that opportunities show up and then we're like, no, it has to be this way. That's not right. So make sure you're aware of when opportunities are showing up and say, thank you. Okay, that's awesome, but how could it be better? It could be better if I own the property. It could be better if, I lease the property. How does it feel when you think this thought? So different. It's not the old fear. It's not the old worry, is it? It's lighter, it's happier, it's joyful. That's creation, okay? So this is the creative state. This is the state we want to get into when we're manifesting. And we have the ability to do this. Play with these some more this week. If you find that old fear or that old block is coming up, just turn it into that object and ridiculous it, okay? We're going to change the old neural pathways and open up for that creation of what you want to create in the next year.